Hi, I'm Gary Ferner, the pastor of Fairmont Community Church, United Church of Christ in Syracuse, New York, and I'd like to share with you a little bit about our church's struggles with balancing our budget over the last few years. After several years of deficit budgets, our church council decided to work with what they called an austerity budget, a balanced budget, using what the church members pledged to the budget, what our building use fees brought in, and whatever fundraising occurred over the budget year. Each board and committee responsible for expenditures was asked to provide a list of fixed expenses that could not be cut and a list of discretionary expenses that could be implemented as funds became available. And even as we needed to cut our OCWM, our church's wider mission support, our church council voted that each quarter we would review our budget, make an additional OCWM contribution as long as there were monies available. All of our staff except for the pastor received pay cuts. It was a painful process, but a necessary one. The church was adamant that they wanted a full-time pastor serving them, but it became clear that there would not be enough money to keep the staff payroll the same. 2 part-time staff members remained at a reduced pay level with reduced hours, and 1 part-time staff member chose to seek employment elsewhere. After 2 years of this type of budgeting, Fairmont is now starting to see a kind of recovery. As of August 31st of this year, we have a modest surplus in our operating budget. We've also made 2 additional OCWM payments this year beyond our annual obligation, and expect to be able to make 2 more additional payments before the year's end. As painful as our austerity budgets were, they forced us to see our expenses in a new light and helped us prioritize our ministries for the future. Boards and committees agreed to limit their expenditures for the financial health of the whole church, and parishioners understood that we would still be the church, even as we were limiting our expenses. Our modest surplus does not mean that we're free to return to the deficit budgets of the past, but it does mean that we can begin seeing what a faith budget would look like for 2014, a budget that reflects our priorities of being the church that we can afford. Blessings.